Welcome to Midnight Horrors. Dive into chilling tales and dark mysteries. Subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. The Phantom Conductor. In the heart of the forgotten town of Grimsby, where time seemed to stand still, the air was perpetually thick with nostalgia and the whispers of bygone days. The once thriving railway station was now a ghostly relic, with weeds creeping over rusted tracks and platforms crumbling under the weight of years. For Harold, a retired train conductor who had spent his life amidst the hustle and bustle of this station, these tracks were more than metal and wood. They were veins that had once pulsed with life. Every day, Harold wandered the deserted platforms, his footsteps echoing through the silence like a haunting refrain. He longed for the rhythmic clatter of wheels on the rails, the hiss of steam, and the lively chatter of passengers. The railway had been his life, his pride, and his solace. Now it was a memory, fading like the evening light as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the earth. One chilly autumn evening, as the sky blazed with the colors of dusk, Harold felt an inexplicable urge to visit the station. He pulled on his coat, the familiar scent of mothballs mingling with the crisp autumn air, and set out towards the railway, his cane tapping a steady beat against the cobblestones. As he approached the station, the familiar landmarks greeted him: the old clock tower, its hands frozen in time, the signal box now home to nesting birds, and the water tower standing sentinel against the encroaching wilderness. But as he rounded the corner, something stopped him in his tracks. There, standing on the rusted rails, was a train, a gleaming apparition, untouched by time. Its carriages glowed in the fading light, the windows dark and foreboding. Harold's heart skipped a beat, a thrill of fear and curiosity mingling in his chest. How could a train be here on these forgotten tracks after all these years? With trembling hands, Harold approached the train. The air grew colder with each step, the chill seeping into his bones and raising goosebumps on his skin. He reached for the door, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air, and pulled it open with an eerie creak that echoed through the night. Inside, the train was dimly lit, the flickering lights casting long shadows that danced across the walls. The seats were empty, yet Harold felt an undeniable presence, as if the train were alive and waiting. An invisible force seemed to beckon him forward, urging him to explore its depths. Harold hesitated, the weight of dread pressing down on him, but his curiosity was too strong to resist. He stepped inside, the floorboards creaking beneath his weight, and began to move through the carriages. Each step echoed in the silence, accompanied by a growing sense of unease that wrapped around him like a shroud. As he reached the third carriage, a figure emerged from the shadows, a conductor, dressed in an old-fashioned uniform, his eyes hollow and lifeless. Harold's heart pounded in his chest as he realized the conductor was not of this world. The spectral figure raised a gloved hand, pointing towards the rear of the train, where a soft, mournful whistle echoed through the night. Fear surged through Harold, urging him to flee, but something in the conductor's eyes stopped him. There was a sadness there, a plea for help that tugged at Harold's heartstrings. He knew he had to understand this ghostly presence, to uncover the story that lay hidden within the shadows. The encounter with the Phantom Conductor haunted Harold, invading his thoughts and dreams. He saw the ghostly figure in every shadow, heard the mournful whistle in every gust of wind. Despite his fear, Harold was drawn back to the station night after night, as if compelled by an unseen force to unravel the mystery. Each visit to the station revealed more of the train's haunting nature. The conductor appeared to him repeatedly, always pointing towards the rear of the train. Harold realized the ghost was trying to communicate, to show him something that lay hidden within the depths of the carriages. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, Harold finally gave in to the spectral conductor's silent command. On a moonlit night, with the world bathed in silver light, he boarded the train once more, determined to uncover the mystery that lay at its heart. As he ventured deeper into the train, the air grew colder, the shadows darker and more oppressive. At the end of the train, he discovered a hidden compartment, its door slightly ajar. Inside, the remnants of a tragic accident lay preserved, a collection of personal belongings, photographs, and letters, all untouched by time. Among them, Harold found a faded photograph of the conductor, his face filled with sorrow. Realization dawned upon Harold as he pieced together the conductor's story. The train had been involved in a catastrophic accident decades ago, one that claimed the lives of many passengers, including the conductor himself. Bound by guilt and unable to find peace, the conductor's spirit lingered, doomed to wander the train for eternity. Harold understood that he needed to help the ghost find closure, to release him from the chains of the past. He gathered the belongings and returned them to the station, hoping to lay the conductor's spirit to rest. As he placed the items on the platform, a sense of calm washed over him, the air growing warmer, as if the weight of the past had been lifted. The conductor appeared one last time, his eyes filled with gratitude. With a nod of farewell, the ghostly figure faded into the night, leaving Harold with a sense of peace and closure. The station, once a place of haunting memories, became a sanctuary of remembrance, where the past and present coexisted in harmony. The Tunnel of Whispers. Nestled in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, the small town of Whispering Pines was a place where legends lived alongside reality. The town's history was steeped in tales of mystery and the supernatural, its forests echoing with stories of things unseen. For a group of friends, a weekend getaway to this enigmatic place promised excitement and adventure. Max, a thrill-seeker with an insatiable curiosity, led the group. His friends knew him as someone who thrived on challenges and relished in the unknown. That evening, as they sat around a crackling campfire, Max shared a local legend that piqued everyone's interest, the tale of the Whispering Tunnel. According to the legend, the tunnel was once part of a railway line that had been abandoned after a tragic accident. It was said that the spirits of those who perished still lingered, their whispers echoing through the darkness. The tunnel's reputation was infamous, a place avoided by locals and travelers alike. Max's eyes gleamed with excitement as he recounted the legend, weaving a tale of mystery and suspense. The group listened, entranced by the story, their imaginations ignited by the possibilities. As the fire crackled and the night deepened, Max dared his friends to explore the tunnel with him. The dare was met with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The prospect of facing the unknown was both thrilling and terrifying, a test of courage that none could resist. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, they set out into the night, the forest shrouded in shadows and the chill of anticipation. The tunnel loomed before them, its entrance a gaping maw of darkness. The air was cold and still, a sharp contrast to the warmth of the campfire. As they stepped inside, a sense of foreboding settled over the group, the whispers beginning to fill the air like a haunting symphony. Their footsteps echoed off the walls, mingling with the faint whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The whispers grew louder, forming unintelligible words that sent shivers down their spines. The darkness was oppressive, pressing in from all sides as if the tunnel itself were alive. Max led the way, his flashlight cutting through the gloom, but even his bravado began to waver in the face of the unknown. Suddenly a figure emerged from the shadows, a ghostly apparition, its face contorted in anguish. The group froze, their flashlights flickering as the specter approached. Its eyes were hollow, its voice a cacophony of despairing whispers that filled the tunnel with an overwhelming sense of dread. Panic seized the friends, and they turned to flee, their hearts pounding as they raced towards the exit. The whispers followed them, growing louder and more insistent, as if the spirits were desperate to share their untold story. The group burst out of the tunnel, gasping for breath and hearts pounding with fear. The whispers faded into the night, leaving behind an eerie silence that was almost as unsettling. Max, though shaken, was determined to uncover the truth behind the legend, convinced that the spirits had a message to convey. They returned to their campsite, the warmth of the fire providing a welcome respite from the chill of the tunnel. Max shared his theory with the others, suggesting that the spirits were trapped, unable to move on until their story was told. The group agreed to return the following night, armed with more knowledge and a plan to help the spirits find peace. The next day they delved into the town's archives, poring over dusty records and faded newspaper clippings. They uncovered the story of a train derailment that had claimed the lives of dozens of passengers. The tragedy had left a deep scar on the community, its memory preserved in the whispers that haunted the tunnel. Among the victims was a young woman named Clara, whose diary had been discovered among the wreckage. Her final entry spoke of a stormy night and a feeling of impending doom, a chilling premonition of the disaster that would follow. Her words painted a vivid picture of fear and uncertainty, a life cut short by tragedy. With this knowledge in hand, the group prepared for their return to the tunnel. They carried candles and offerings, hoping to honor the spirits and provide them with the closure they sought. As they entered the tunnel once more, the whispers returned, filling the air with an unearthly energy. Max called out to the spirits, offering words of peace and understanding. The whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a tempest, but gradually began to take form, coalescing into a haunting melody that resonated through the tunnel. In that moment, the group felt a profound connection to the spirits, as if the veil between the worlds had been lifted. The ghostly apparition of Clara appeared once more, her face serene and filled with gratitude. With a gentle nod, she gestured towards the exit, her spirit finally free to move on. The tunnel fell silent, the air growing warmer as the spirits found peace. The group emerged into the night, their hearts lightened by the knowledge that they had helped the restless souls find closure. The subway of shadows. In the bustling city of Metropolis, the subway system was a lifeline for millions, a network of tunnels that snaked beneath the streets like a vast subterranean labyrinth. For Sophie, a night shift worker, the subway was a familiar and necessary part of her routine. But one fateful night, her journey home took an unexpected and terrifying turn. The train was nearly empty as Sophie boarded, the hum of fluorescent lights casting an artificial glow over the carriage. She settled into a seat, her eyes heavy with fatigue as the train rumbled into the depths of the city. The rhythm of the rails was soothing, a lullaby that threatened to pull her into the depths of sleep. As the train entered a particularly dark stretch of tunnel, the lights flickered and dimmed, plunging the carriage into shadow. A sense of unease settled over Sophie, the hair on the back of her neck standing on end. She glanced around, her gaze landing on a figure seated at the far end of the carriage. The figure was shrouded in darkness, their features obscured by the flickering lights, but their eyes were visible, gleaming with an unnatural intensity that sent a chill down Sophie's spine. She looked away, heart pounding, as the train continued its journey through the shadows. Suddenly, the figure stood and began to move towards her, their footsteps silent against the floor. Panic surged through Sophie, her instincts screaming for her to run. But before she could react, the train came to an abrupt halt, the lights flickering back to life as the doors slid open. Sophie bolted from her seat, racing onto the platform as if the very hounds of hell were on her heels. She glanced back, expecting to see the figure pursuing her, but the carriage was empty, the shadowy figure nowhere to be seen. Breathless and trembling, Sophie realized she had encountered something beyond the realm of the living, a shadowy presence that haunted the depths of the subway. Haunted by her encounter, Sophie struggled to shake the feeling of dread that clung to her. The shadowy figure's eyes haunted her dreams, a reminder of the chilling presence she had faced. Determined to uncover the truth, Sophie began researching the subway's history, seeking answers to the mystery that plagued her. She discovered a series of unexplained incidents that had occurred over the years, each involving sightings of shadowy figures in the subway tunnels. The stories spoke of passengers disappearing without a trace, their final moments marked by encounters with the supernatural. Intrigued and unnerved, Sophie delved deeper into the subway's history, uncovering a dark past filled with tragedy and loss. The tunnels had been the site of numerous accidents, each leaving a lingering scar on the city's collective memory. Determined to confront the shadows, Sophie enlisted the help of a paranormal investigator named Mark. Together, they planned to explore the subway tunnels, armed with cameras and recording equipment to document their findings. As they descended into the depths of the city, the air grew colder, the darkness more oppressive. The whispers of the past echoed around them, a constant reminder of the tragedies that had unfolded in the shadows. Mark led the way, his camera capturing every flicker of movement, every shadow that seemed to dance at the edge of their vision. The atmosphere was tense, the silence broken only by the distant rumble of trains passing through the tunnels. Suddenly, the air grew still, the oppressive darkness closing in around them. A shadowy figure emerged from the gloom, his eyes gleaming with the same unnatural intensity that Sophie had witnessed before. The figure moved towards them, its presence palpable and suffocating. Mark raised his camera, capturing the figure as it approached. But the image on the screen was distorted, the shadow flickering and shifting as if it existed beyond the realm of reality. The figure reached out, its touch cold and ephemeral, sending a shiver down Sophie's spine. In that moment, Sophie understood that the shadow was not a threat, but a guardian of the tunnels, a spirit bound to the subway by the tragedies of the past. With a whispered prayer for peace, Sophie and Mark backed away, leaving the shadow to its eternal vigil. The threads of fate. The stories of the Phantom Conductor, the Whispering Tunnel, and the shadowy subway wove together a tapestry of mystery and terror. Each encounter revealed the lingering presence of spirits bound by tragedy, unable to find peace until their stories were told. Harold, Max, Sophie, and Mark found solace in the knowledge that they had helped the restless spirits find closure, laying the past to rest and freeing the souls from their earthly bonds. The tracks of terror that once haunted their dreams became a symbol of resilience and courage, a testament to the power of understanding and compassion in the face of the unknown. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more thrilling content. Your support means the world to us.